mesmerizing journey right here on Twitchy Tuesdays. Tonight we are diving deep into the cosmic depths, completely guided by an enigmatic Neptune who is slowing all the way down, getting ready to station direct. The practical wisdom of Mercury headed into Capricorn to start us out for December, and his last retrograde of 2023. Plus, we're also going to cover the passionate embrace of Venus headed into Scorpio. It's a night of learning the astrology, staying for the tarot. So get ready to navigate the ending of November and the cosmic tides of December as we get into cleaning out the broom closet. Okay, let's talk about what we've got going on this week. We just got done with an incredibly intense, very tight. I don't know if y'all were feeling it in your chest. I know I was having a lot of tightness in my chest with the T-square that happened during this Gemini full moon. As we're recording this, the full moon's still very present. That energy is still very present, and that is leading us into December. Thankfully, very much so thankfully, today we didn't have any direct aspects to deal with. We kind of got a day to breathe in and really integrate that Gemini full moon that just occurred. On the 29th, we begin our aspects for the week. So Venus in Libra will be opposing the North Node in Aries at 24 degrees, 5 minutes, which means she's conjunct the South Node, which was very present in this Gemini full moon. In fact, Venus was really, in my opinion, and how I read into the astrology and just Venus is doing some wonderful things right now. And so I actually really saw this as a very beneficial, very supportive mode in how we can kind of deal with this T-square and understand a little bit more like how to balance out some of these energies. So that will happen on the 29th. That will go exact, even though it's been building for a little bit now. On the 30th, Pallas Athena in Scorpio will trine Vesta retrograde in Cancer. That will occur at 4 degrees, 46 minutes. 12/1, we start off December with a bang. Mercury heads into Capricorn. And immediately after coming off of his square with Neptune, he sextiles Saturn in Pisces. That will happen on 12/2 at 1 degree, 12 minutes. On 12/3, Venus in Libra will make a square to Pluto in Capricorn. We got the Two of Pentacles that wanted to come out for this one. We'll make a square with Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees, 34 minutes. We are halfway through this Two of Pentacles. We are halfway through that Capricorn Pluto 28 degree mark. Venus is going to come back around. We'll talk about Venus's journey here in just a little bit. Then on 12/4, Venus ingresses into Scorpio. We'll get some of those energy signatures as well on that same day, and this is in order. So Venus will drop into Scorpio. Mercury in Capricorn will oppose Vesta retrograde in Cancer at 3 degrees, 48 minutes. And then Pallas Athena in Scorpio will oppose Jupiter retrograde in Taurus at 6 degrees, 44 minutes. So pretty good week. Pretty good week to enter into December. I wanted to just level set before we got into all of the Venus, all of the Neptune and Mercury information. I wanted to level set on December itself and just some of the energies that we can expect getting into December. I'm excited about what is present in December. I think it's definitely, even though Sagittarius season is a little different this year, December has a lot to offer to close out 2023 and begin 2024 with a bang. So first off, this is a Venus Mercury month. I go back to that Two of Pentacles that just got pulled. This entire month has everything to do with Venus and Mercury. 15, I'm getting goosebumps. 15 out of the 20 mundane transits this month involve either Venus or Mercury. That is a lot. So Venus and Mercury have something very prominent in the month of December that they're offering. 4 out of the 6 ingresses in December is Venus and Mercury, because we've got Mercury's retrograde, so it's Capricorn, Sagittarius, Capricorn. We've got Venus going into Scorpio, and then also into Sag at the end of the month, which we'll talk about. So the start of the month, Mercury and Venus ingress, and then we've got other planets that do some things, right? We're going to get our Capricorn season, so the sun will head in. At the end of the month, Mercury and then Venus ingress. So it is this, again, going back, I don't have the Two of Pentacles anymore, but going back to that Two of Pentacles, there's a lot of synchronicities here. There's a lot of balance here. There's a lot between the masculine and the feminine energy signatures here. And I got the image that they showed me as I was thinking about this Venus-Mercury month was brother and sister dynamics. Specifically, they brought the Starks. So if any of you have seen Game of Thrones, read Game of Thrones, I read some of the books, watched some of the series, didn't finish all of it. However, Arya, Sansa, Robb, Bran, Rickon, and then their half-brother Jon Snow. It's these brother-sister dynamics that were really played out within the Stark family timeline in the Game of Thrones is what that image was for this Venus-Mercury month. Even separated, even the journey that Arya and Sansa went on, 2 totally different journeys, they were still family no matter what. And that is the dynamic of Venus and Mercury this month. And that's what I think some of the gift of this dynamic can bring in is no matter how vastly different our experiences are as individuals, no matter how crazy things might change in December for you as an individual, we are all still part of the whole. Our work is individual work, but our individual work have impact into the whole. We are still connected. We are still, and that this is that Saturn, Piscean, Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. It's that sort of influence of understanding that no matter how far you may travel, you're still part of a greater collective. So let's get into then entering into December. We enter into a month where the Sun and Mars in Sagittarius are squaring Saturn in Pisces. So this got activated during the Gemini full moon yesterday, as we're recording this on 11/28. The Gemini full moon was yesterday. This got activated. And the Sun and Mars have been doing a dance since November. We've talked about that in previous Twitchy Tuesdays. With this T-square and using a 5-degree orb, so I prefer to use 5-degree orbs in kind of tense squares like this, in this particular configuration. Typically for my moons and everything else, I stick to right around 3 degrees. But with this one in particular, with Mars being under the beams of the Sun, the Mars Cazimi, etc., I'm using a little bit wider 5-degree orb. This activation with the square with Saturn and Pisces is going to continue until 12/6. Just so happens 12/6 is the exact day that Neptune stations direct, who is in the same sign as Saturn. So we've got sign support here as this square is beginning to then separate and pull away. So that's really coming into this and this Neptune signature stationing on the same day where this separates past the 5-degree mark. This is what the Sun and Mars are actually working towards. They are working towards their square with Neptune as they get through Sagittarius, square Neptune, which for the Sun will happen on 12/16 and for Mars will happen on 12/28. As we talked in November, this was what the concept of this like bleeding month, November, I had labeled as a bleeding month. meaning energies from October bled into November and energies from November bled into December. This is the aspect that bleeds over and really sets December up for what it's going to be. It's kind of that underlying tone that then the music gets built on top of. So as we go through a month that, quite frankly, I'm very excited about and has a lot of really amazing energy to it, we can't forget that this tone, this baseline sits underneath it all. There are things that do need to be concluded. There are things that absolutely cannot be forgotten, because Mars and the Sun are going to separate on 12/6 from Saturn and then work towards Neptune. And in that work towards Neptune, we could totally lose our minds and forget ourselves. That's with all of this other good energy that's coming in. There are things that need to be concluded and not forgotten. And I think that's why Neptune is sitting here like, I'm stationing direct on this day for you to remember. You've got to come and see me. And by the way, you've got to come and see me direct, not retrograde. So as you'll see, as we, kind of discuss Mercury and Venus, December really has some of that good, much needed energy to it. Again, tie off, finish, deal with the things that are occurring within this transit. Deal with the things that are occurring and make sure that they're tied off, completed from this Gemini full moon. Some examples of what could have shown up with a Sun, Mars, Saturn square configuration is things coming to an unexpected halt very suddenly. You could have been working very diligently on something and it literally screeched to a halt. No movement can happen. Needing to pivot very quickly. So again, you were working on something and now it's got to go a different direction and you have to make the decision on the fly. Death came out. Making split time decisions for the transformation that needs to happen. Dealing with frustration. Death, Mars, Saturn, Sun, all squaring. Dealing with your frustration from wanting to accomplish the things that Mars and the Sun want to accomplish, because we want to work, we want to show out, we want to present, we want to be out in that world, and we want to take those actions. But guess what? It's on Saturn's timeline. It's on Death's timeline. It's only on this timeline. This is the ruler of the timeline. We can't do anything until Saturn says we can. And the best support that I'm going to see if another card wants to come out. The best support is to observe how you manage frustration as this happens. It's not about not being frustrated. It's frustrating to get halted to a stop. It is frustrating to have to pivot quickly. Doesn't mean that you won't get frustrated. Look at that. 8 of Swords. Yeah. 8 of Swords. This is frustration. It doesn't mean that you won't get frustrated, but how are you managing that frustration? How are you internally looking at how you're being surrounded by these swords, these things that you can't break down, these barriers? You're kind of stuck in this circle. How are you managing that on a day-to-day basis? How do you stay on your pursuits during this time? Just because it's hard, just because death is here blocking your way, trampling all over your ground, just because you're tied up does not mean that this is a no. This doesn't say no. This doesn't say no anywhere around it. There is no no here. There's a not now. There's a not now in this. It ain't time. Look at this. It ain't time. You've got some other things that have to happen first. It ain't time yet. But this isn't a no. So just think about, as you're working through this and as you're presented with some of these, you know, however this is showing up for you in these aspects, you're being blocked for purpose. You're being said, hey, you need to sit and think about this. You're being frustrated. You're having to pivot is for purpose. And you may not understand what that purpose is right now. It may take that completion of whatever you were doing to be able to look back and go, I get why death showed up. I get why death rained on my parade. I get why I was surrounded by these swords. I understand. And I see how this worked out for my best and highest good. Okay, that is December energy overall, and what we are walking into and what we can kind of expect. And let's talk about Neptune stationing direct. I am going to leave Mercury for the very end, because Mercury, there's quite a bit to talk about with Mercury. Fabulous retrograde he's about ready to have, but we're going to level set on that all. But we're going to start with Neptune first, head to Venus, then get to Mercury. So Neptune stationing direct, that will happen on 12/6 at 24 degrees, 53 minutes. So we enter in to December, Mercury headed first, but then we're working towards this Neptune stationing direct. And I wanted to take a moment to just level set on how I work with Neptune and how Neptune, I understand Neptune's energy and how it kind of shows up for me. The way that I understand Neptune is, while Neptune is retrograde, she is more clear than when she is direct. And that typically is opposite for most planets. Typically when a planet stations and goes retrograde, they kind of become more reserved, more quiet. You might not understand a lot. It's a lot of internal. With Neptune, though, while she is retrograde, she gives us this opportunity to see behind the veil, to see behind the water wall that she puts up, to see behind the disillusion, to see behind things that are typically unclear. Like, think about deep, any water, even in a pool, in a lake, in the ocean. When you open your eyes underwater, it's typically not clear all the way. You can just see everything, right? There's this haze, there's this illusion, there's this, it's not all encompassing to the eye. That is how I see that unclearness. When Neptune is direct, she is fully immersed in her water. And that inability to see clearly becomes very, very prominent as she's moving in a forward direction. So when she's retrograde, she ends up becoming much more accessible. You don't have to part the water to get to her. When she's retrograde, that water is automatically parted, so you can really get a much clearer view and imagery of what is happening than when she is direct. It doesn't mean that when she's direct, you can't penetrate the water. We obviously can penetrate water, but it takes a different approach. It takes different planning. It takes different tools that you need than when she is retrograde. So I wanted to level set with that, because that's, again, just how Neptune has shown up for me and how I read Neptune. Now, when a planet either stations to go retrograde or direct, it slows all the way down to a stop. That's what the day of stationing direct or stationing retrograde is all about. So on 12/6, 24:53 minutes, Neptune ain't moving. We are, halt. And it's a roll up to that, especially with the larger outer planets. So the start of December, Saturn is slow, super slow. And this is where Saturn can really have our dreams be very active. We can find ourselves daydreaming a lot more, kind of checking out and like shitting out and like being up in the ether. We could be really, really tired as Neptune is like screeching to this halt and really just beginning to pause. We could feel really worn out, although we have energy, like energetically, like right now. I am ready to rock and roll, have high energy, but man, after this, I'm done. We check it out. I'm gonna go sit on a couch. So it can be that really ebb and flow with a lot of the energy that's coming our way as she is slowing down. If you are in tune with your intuitive gifts, look at that, Knight of Swords. If you are in tune with your intuitive gifts, they can be in overdrive right now. Knight of Swords, absolutely. You could get hit after hit after hit after intuitive guidance, after this, after that. It can just be coming at you from like galloping at you with this Knight of Swords right here. And they can go like right before this veil comes down, this water comes down as she goes direct. It's like, I got to get everything in before this happens. So even though Neptune works on a very large scale, it's a generational planet, she typically ends up showing up individually in kind of the smaller spaces. So she's got this impact collectively, again, going back to this signature with Venus and Mars and the Starks, right? We're part of this collective whole. Individually, she shows up in these smaller areas. Trust what you're feeling in your body. That's a small area when you think about the grand scheme of things. Like, hey, I'm getting this like feeling I should go be doing something, or I'm getting this feeling like I need to rest, even though I'm kind of not tired. Like I just don't need to be doing right now. If you need to rest, if those are the feelings that you're getting, do it. Do it. Trust the intuitive hits that you're getting. And if this is how simple this can be. Go eat soup. What? Where did that come from? I wasn't even planning on soup tonight. Go eat soup. Go and eat soup. That's an intuitive hit. That's a Knight of Swords. That's something coming in for you. And that is how simple and how like simplistic Neptune can be as she's going through this slow down to station direct. If you are, look at this, Knights. We got Knights coming out, Knight of Cups. Again, that intuition, which is exactly where I'm going next. If you are overwhelmed, if you are intuiting so much back to back to back, you can't sleep, 2 a.m. club in full effect. The ideas just won't stop. The intuitive hits just won't stop. The ideas are coming. Oh my gosh, you need to do this. If this is galloping away, if your intuition is galloping away, it is absolutely appropriate, going back to this Knight of Swords, speaking your truth, it is absolutely appropriate and okay for you to ask your guides to slow the stream of information coming in. Get your spiritual support, your ancestors, your guides, your angels, whatever you work with spiritually, meditation, ask for the information to slow down. You can even give parameters around this. So it could sound something like, I appreciate so much the information that you're imparting on me, and I want to do my best to be a good steward of this information. I ask that you give me the information that is for my highest good right now until June 2nd, 2024, when Neptune will station retrograde again, and we can reassess at that time the next round of information that comes in. That can be your simple request, your prayer, whatever you want to work with that for the next couple of days as this process is happening. This can be especially true with both of these nights here. For some of us, we could be channeling for the world and the universe at large. And that, I know people with that gift. I know people with they get so many downloads that aren't specifically for them as an individual, but are messages for the collective. That can be right now in overdrive, and that can be really challenging. It can be really, it can put like, it's a lot to hold all of that. What do you do with those messages, those sorts of things? So again, you can ask, hey, I'm gonna need me back. I'm gonna need my space back. I'm gonna need information that is pertinent to me. So that is Neptune stationing direct. Let's head into Venus. Venus's December journey. Venus is at her bestest right now, and I am literally here for it. She is just thriving. I am like, all of us as a collective have been so blessed with Venus and her transit this year. When I looked at it last year this time and was like prepping for 2023, I wasn't so sure how this was, her transit in Leo was going to come out. But again, we hold the vision, trust the process. And man, she has delivered. She has delivered in every way possible. And here for it, loving it. Kudos, Venus. Kudos to all of you on your Venus journey. I mean, she's just really helping things come together. She's helping this Gemini move, providing. And typically, I would not normally read a conjunction with the South Node opposing the North Node in Aries as like something really positive that could help. That just kind of shows you where we're at. It shows you her level of maturity, that wasn't the energy that I intuited, that my guides gave me about what is occurring right now. So she's just like helping things come together. And if you remember back to September, she has literally been closing out every single month. Every month we end with a Venus aspect. Every one. And December is no different. So she's going to open up with this square with Pluto in Capricorn. And she's going to end the month for us with a sextile with Pluto in Capricorn. When she gets in, whoa. Look, we are getting all of the Knight, our King of Wands, as she goes into Sagittarius, that fire sign. And through this entire month, she gets to make the most beautiful, and here's this King of Wands, the most beautiful googly eyes across the table with Jupiter in her home sign of Taurus. And she just gets to love on that energy, love being in the energy of the Sagittarian fire. She just gets to have a whole ride in December, and she's just on a whole vibe right now. What is this card? Ace of Pentacles. Yes. Her December journey is a gift. It is a gift to us. It's her gift. Like, she is just thriving right now. So let's kind of break down days so that way we've got this all together. 12/3, she will square Pluto in Capricorn. 12/4, she'll go straight into Scorpio. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I think I inhaled some of the incense smoke going on. All right, 12/5. She will trine Saturn in Pisces. 12/9, she will oppose Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. 12/11, she will sextile Mercury in Capricorn. 12/21, she will oppose Uranus retrograde in Taurus. 12/25, she will trine Neptune in Pisces. And then 12/29, she will first meet up in this sextile with Pluto and then ingress into Sagittarius. Whole vibe. I'm telling giving you a whole vibe. That is a beautiful, beautiful month. And we'll talk about Venus in Sagittarius as we get kind of closer to the end of the month, but let's kind of dive into Venus and Scorpio signatures. So Venus is in her detriment. Look at that, the devil coming out. She is in her detriment, farthest away from her home sign of Taurus. And in Scorpio, this Scorpio card present front and center, she has to meet Mars and Pluto in their territory, the devil, in the underground. So this is where Persephone has to go to the underworld. She can be herself in the underworld, but she has to make adjustments to that life. Things don't grow in the underworld. She can't produce trees and fruit and all of this like lovely abundance and luxury the same way she can do on Earth in the sign of Taurus. But what she can do is still bring luxury into the underworld. So it is, her journey is a change of perception, and changing that perception of, the typical, oh my gosh, this is the devil, to, wow, this is the devil, and I can work with this. She can be a little aggressive. I take that, that kind of, there's kind of all levels of aggression, right? She can be just directly aggressive, like, no, I'm doing this and that's it. But there's a lot of passion that comes with Venus and Scorpio, and it's like, that is more of that aggressive realm that I'm feeling that could show up in the month of December as she's going through Scorpio, is more of that passion, aggression, where it's like, I am so passionate about this. This is my hill to die on. I am not letting this dream go. I am not letting this concept. I'm not letting my worth. I'm not letting my values. You are not going to sway me. And I am going to aggressively defend what I know is right for myself. That's the energy that she can bring forward. Isabel Hickey, who is, she has the Astrology, a Cosmic Science book. She says in this book that Venus and Scorpio, Venus draws everything to the center. And I loved that just simple sentence because it is so true with Venus. Venus draws everything to the center, to the heart center. And all of the things come to the center of self. This is what she's great at, is, hey, let me bring all of this in. And then Scorpio, Mars and Pluto are wonderful at helping her dig up what is in the center that can be transformed, that allows her to flourish even more when she transitions from the underworld back up to the earthly plane. So Venus, the things that typically get dug up, Venus's whole life cycle, her whole MO is around worth. So it's these themes consistently of worth. And where this is happening in your chart may give you an idea about how that might show up. So for example, if you are in the third house, the house of communication, are you speaking your worth? If you are in the seventh, the house of relationships, is your worth valued in partnerships with others? If you are in the 11th, do you find value in your community and what your community, you can provide to it and it provides to you? So it all really though gets to come back to worth. And this is, to me, Venus's entire journey this year. And I think she's in a really good spot. I am not mad at passionately, aggressively defending your worth. Why would you not? Why would you not? And if you're like, ooh, I got triggered by that, I don't want to, why are you triggered? Why is it so wrong to passionately defend your values, passionately defend where you're going, passionately defend your worth? So that is Venus and Scorpio and her journey. We are going to talk about Mercury next. And this one I am very, very excited about. I'm going to run through a very long list of dates because I'm going to I want to make sure to level set on how busy, first of all, Mercury is going to be in December. But I'm going to go in from November and into January as well, because Mercury's journey just isn't December. Mercury will take us into the next year and will station direct in next year. So we're going to go through all of that in level set. So 11 yesterday during the moon, right after the moon, technically, Mercury squared Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So this Ace of Wands, he got some gold, he got some goods, he got some motivation to go forward. This is his end of his Sagittarius journey, the fire journey. He's about ready to ingress into Capricorn. That will literally occur on 12/1. We open up December with Mercury ingressing into Capricorn. So he's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot of things. And Neptune retrograde, the only planet that is meeting Neptune while she is still retrograde, got a lot clearer information than the sun's going to get, than Mars is going to get, than I think, is it Sirius is going to get. Like, there's a lot more information that Mercury was able to ascertain clearly than some of the other planets. Let me make sure it is, I'm almost positive it seems, but you know, this is why we have a honeycomb and we check all of our things. Here is Sirius. All right, well, I will find that out. I can always throw it in the chat afterwards. So 11/27, Saturn, Neptune square. Mercury will ingress into Capricorn 12/1. 12/2, immediate sextile to Saturn and Pisces. Immediate, no worries. We've got multiple meetups with Saturn. 12/7, Mercury will trine Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. 12/11, he will sextile Venus in Scorpio. And 12/13, we have our very final Mercury retrograde of 2023. Look, this Knight of Swords. Absolutely. Mercury will station retrograde on 12/13 at 8 degrees 29 minutes of Capricorn. We'll begin to work backwards. We'll then literally just work back all that I just said. 12/18, trine Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. 12/21, sextile Saturn in Pisces. Then we get Mercury's cazimi, which is the conjunction with the sun. Goes into the sun, gets birthed anew. That will happen on 12/22. Mercury does that right at that break point of Capricorn season. 12/23, Mercury heads back into Sagittarius. So again, this is like, I just feel Mercury so much in this card as leading the charge, leading the way. Like, let's go, let's get this done. Let's do the things that we need to do. Even though this is his retrograde, there's like this, I'm ready to do the things that I need to do to make this exactly what it needs to be, to end 2024 or 2023 with a bang and get into 2024 with all of the goodness that we can. So after the cazimi and going into Sag, guess what he does? And the reason why I wanted to talk about this square on 11/27. 12/27, exactly a month later, he squares Neptune and Pisces again. Now, Neptune is direct. On that exact same day, he will conjunct Mars. So him and Mars will have a little giddy up get together. And then on 1-1, so we've got this energy of Mars and Mercury together for a little bit. He will station direct at 22 degrees 11 minutes of Sagittarius. 7 of Cups. And now he'll begin the process all over again. 1-8, square Neptune. 1-13, ingress into Capricorn. 1-18, sextile Saturn in Pisces. 1-19, trine Jupiter in Taurus. 1-27, another conjunction with Mars. Look at how many gifts. Look at how much opportunity is available with all of those transits. That is a literal from yesterday, 2 months, 11-27, 12-27, 1-27. 27 might be a number, if that's speaking to you, that just came into my Ori, speaking to my Ori and my ancestors. 27. There are multiple. We've got 1, 2, 3, right? November to December, 2 months. 2 full months to take advantage of every single one of these cups. To take advantage, I mean, look at this. Let me put these in the right order. Look at this spread. Look at this. Look at how abundant that is. I start off on fire. I'm ready to take charge. Even though I'm in my retrograde, I still got the energy to go, go, go. And guess what? I get 7 gifts. I get 7 opportunities. And this isn't a one and done. I can literally maximize 7 different times. Ouch. I'll take that. Them's great odds. So, just to make sure everybody is clear, Mercury will meet up 3 times with Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune. Each planet will get 3 meetups with Mercury. That's huge. He is a busy, busy bee. And there's a lot that's coming in. He will also go over the galactic center 3 times. So the galactic center is found between the 26 and 27 degree mark of Sagittarius. He will be scrubbing over that mark 3 times. So not only do we have 3 planets, 1 personal, 1 that expand, well, 2 personal, that expand us, constrict us. We've got this kind of flux of energy. And then we've got an outer generational planet. He also meets up with the galactic collective, the energy of the whole, the energy of the universe, these deeply embedded DNA codes that are, excuse me, that are maybe not something that we consciously can think through or consciously, it's like this Ace of Wands. It's not maybe a conscious upgrade or download, but more so a like light code frequency download. Something that just like clicks, upgrades us. We could feel that energy. So that is very present. He also has 2 conjunctions with Mars. 1 right before he stations direct. So this conjunction and Mercury takes a super, I'm sorry, not the conjunction, but Mercury takes a super prominent part in the Sagittarius new moon, which is literally following up his incredibly prominent placement in the Gemini full moon. So this next moon cycle, from the new moon that just occurred to this full moon, Mercury is super present, super high placement, super in control, super in charge with this Knight of Swords. When Mercury gets into Capricorn, this is Saturn's home sign. I like to think about this as like being crispy clear. Crispy clear. I really get the feeling that, you know, and I got the image that Saturn is like asking Mercury to go back to his home, which would be Capricorn, and check to make sure things didn't get mucked up. Like Saturn was away on campaign. Saturn was doing things in Pisces and was like trying to come back to make sure Capricorn Aquarius was good. Got stuck, couldn't make it all the way back, got halted at that 0 degrees, and won't make it back for another cycle. So Mercury, I feel like is kind of like supporting Saturn in, don't worry, it's good. I'll make sure it's clear. I'll make sure to communicate with you. I'll make sure that the plans that you laid out when you were in Capricorn, when you were in over the last couple of years, when you were in Aquarius is good. We're good with this. We shouldn't have a lot of things that have changed. Yes, things have morphed and ebbed, but it should be for that longer term vision. It should be for Saturn sort of vision and understanding. So Mercury in Cap can be very focused. It has great like ability to get things done because the concentration is there. It's like, all right, I'm not mutable fire everywhere. I can sit down and I can focus and I can get the things done to get on those Capricorn dreams. Great at attention to detail, can pick out those little, oh, wait, I actually really need this here, or wait, this has got to come here. Can remember really key details, great memory exercises that can be done while Mercury's in Cap, and very constructive. Can like break things apart, put them back together, understand why they need to go in a different manner. And through this retrograde, I want to kind of hone in on Mercury's retrograde being the bridge between Sagittarius and Capricorn, fire and earth. That puts a little bit of a different energy than what we've experienced all the way through 2023 with Mercury's fire-based retrograde cycle. Wait, I'm sorry, earth-based retrograde cycle. So now that Mercury is bridging that gap in this last and final retrograde of 2023, the easiest way that I can explain it and how kind of my guides and ancestors and my Ori came to me was Mercury and Sag is all about the what, the passion, the desire to get things done. Mercury in Capricorn is all about the how. How do you bring that desire to life now? How do you bring it to reality? How do you create action around it? And this journey is going to end the calendar year, kick us off into the next year, and it might go something like this. I have a desire. That's Sagittarius. I have a desire. I have it. I know what it is. I begin to plan to bring that desire into reality. That's Mercury getting into Capricorn on the 1st. Now I have to stop. I have to reassess, which is Mercury going into its retrograde. I get insights. These are all the transits where Mercury meets up with Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter and the galactic center and all of this. He gets to have mentorship and help with the reassessment phase. I have faith to continue, and I'm ready to do so. That is him stationing direct back in Sagittarius, that big faith piece. And then, okay, now that I know exactly what is happening, I get to kick it into gear and make it a reality, which is when then he will ingress back into Capricorn. And after his ingress back into Capricorn on the 13th of January, he has more support from Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars to check in and say, bro, that's not what we talked about. No. Or, awesome, Mercury, you are doing it. This is exactly what we talked about. Look at the action coming into play. Look at the dreams coming true. Look at the abundance coming in. So that is how this Mercury retrograde journey, and again, it's really supportive. Like this to me is like, it's not hard. This isn't a challenge. This is, it can literally, it doesn't have to be hard. It can literally be that simple. I have a desire. I want to bring that desire into place. I reassess, make sure that it's the right way forward. I have faith that this is going to work. I reinvigorate my desire, and then I bring it into action. It doesn't have to be hard. But we are humans, so I get it. We can put a little more complexity on it, but truly, it can be that easy. Overall, this is literally the Mercury retrograde that we need. It's the Mercury retrograde that the world needs right now. And to say, thinking of this Knight of Swords that keeps showing up, here's the Knight of Wands. Yep, and we've got the Four of Pentacles. More pointedly and truthfully, to an individual level, we are going to get the Mercury retrograde that we deserve. That is the bar none truth. This is an excellent Mercury retrograde to hone into. It's an excellent Mercury retrograde to utilize. It can be, again, simple, easy. It can be very fruitful. It can be a lot of action. It can be a lot of passion and desire. It can be a lot of bringing things, understanding things, laying that foundation to get the things accomplished that you want to. But it's all in how we choose to work with it. It's all in how we choose to own that. So we will get the Mercury retrograde we deserve. I cannot wait to see how this comes out for everyone, because again, it is a beautiful, beautiful transit in December and into 2024. And how we can get the Mercury retrograde we deserve is all aligning on how we, let's see, oh, King of Pentacles, how we delay our gratification. How do we work with delayed gratification? How do we hold the vision and trust the process? How do we temper our frustrations? How do we continue to be individual, working individually inside of the whole? All of these themes from December, all of these signatures, that underlying time frame, or that underlying drum beat, the underlying bass beat of, hey, we're on Saturn time. Delayed gratification. Okay, before we get to this week's Twitchy Tip, I want to invite you to explore more of what Habitual Sages has to offer. If you're finding value in this cosmic journey, consider giving us a high five by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and checking out our other enlightened videos. We are also incredibly active on X. I know I'm streaming live to X right now. I love that platform. I share exclusive content on X that you can't get on any other social media platform. So make sure to head over there if you also utilize X and give us a follow over there. While you are at it, check out our December All Signs Tarot reading. I did a tarot reading for every zodiac sign. It is chaptered, so if you don't want to go through the whole video, you can go straight to your sign to get all the details and guidance for the coming month. This one in particular did not have an intention behind what type of sign. That is on you to distinguish and determine. If you like to use your rising sign more than your sun sign, cool. You might be in a Venus perfection year, wanting to use your Venus sign, cool. It is open for you to get the message. It is not compartmentalized into a specific sun, moon, or rising. Figure out the one that works for you, how you like to work with your energy. The messages will be there. You can also join our thriving community by going to www.habitualsages.com and subscribing to our email list. That will get you to support the mission to help 1 million people heal, thrive, and grow. We are working on our next season. In fact, I will be opening up in Capricorn season a brand new class that I'm going to be offering in 2024. We'll have more classes. Obviously, we have to do the 2024 overview, trainings, other exclusive content, and that is the best way to be the first to know about that. www.habitualsages.com. All right. Ending out with the Twitchy Tip of the week. I've got 2 of them this week. The first 2 weeks of December are great for integration. As my bestie likes to say, don't skip the integration period. Very guilty on this. Don't skip the integration period. It is super important. And these first 2 weeks of December really give you a great opportunity to do that. So that is your first Twitchy Tip of the week. The second one is around this concept of delayed gratification. That shows up in multiple signatures during this December month. It is not until December 30th that Jupiter stations direct. So again, high effort, high reward. Delayed gratification is part of that. So this week is a really good week to do your shadow work on themes of gratification. How and where do you seek out immediate gratification? Why? What is your purpose? Does it have purpose, or is it a program that you are so used to running, you're doing it unconsciously? Bring the unconscious to light in themes around gratification. Get your understanding down about how gratification shows up for you, how you work with gratification, how you interpret gratification, your values around gratification. Get that understanding down, because doing it now when the energy is right for it, that work will come in clutch when we get to the end of the month and Jupiter stations direct. So I'll give you a little preparatory time now while we're while we are ripe and Neptune still has that veil open. You can do a lot of really great shadow work during this time. So yeah, gratification, dig in. I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with. You can definitely share that in comments. You can also DM me on the socials. Let me know what your experience was like, not only for this moon, but as we get into December. And that is going to be our Twitchy Tuesdays for this week. I will see you actually not next Tuesday, because I will be traveling. We have our next Twitchy Tuesday special schedule on December 3rd. And if I think it's at 11 a.m. Central Time, but this is why you subscribe and hit the notify me button on YouTube, because it will just tell you when I go live. But we will be live for Twitchy Tuesdays on Sunday for this upcoming week, and we will talk more then. Bye, everyone.